What is up, Duelists? Super Insane 18 here, and we are at Amazing Discoveries in Glendale, technically Phoenix, Arizona, and we just took top 8 at the case tournament for Justice Hunters. Unfortunately, we did get kind of sacked in our top 8, and so we didn't make it any further than that, but we were undefeated in Swiss, technically a draw, so we were 4-0-1, and the person who took first is the only person that we drew to, so can't really complain, but we were on the most insane deck, and that is YUMMY Mitsurugi. You saw it on my channel before, you saw a little bit of it in the vlog, but we're going to go in depth here and show you guys the profile. Unfortunately, all I walked away with was $20 store credit because I lost in top 8. So we got some of these Worlds packs. Maybe we will open those at the end as a little treat for you guys. But let's go ahead and jump on in. So starting off the deck profile, of course we have our 3 copies of Cups of Yummy, just the best starter in the deck. And we are just maxing out on all the names with 3 Cookie and 3 Lollipo as well. This is really standard. You just want to make sure you have as many 1-card combos as you can. And this deck has a total of 18 1-card combos. Moving on to the Mitsurugi engine, we have our 3 copies of Habetler. And this card is absolutely cracked. This card gets you both the full Mitsurugi engine and the full Yummy engine. It does open you to a little bit of interaction from your opponent, like maybe K9s and whatnot, but it just kind of is what it is. Really, really good. I would not cut this. I'm hoping that the ban list doesn't hit Habetler, because if it hits prayers, we're actually fine. We are on the 1 copy of Murakumo. This fixes so many problems that the deck has. Yummy is a deck that is very, very difficult to play if your opponent gets rid of your normal summon, and so you want to have additional engines, which is why the Mitsurugi stuff is so good. But not just that, the Murakumo is what actually lets you do the same thing to opposing Yummies, wiping their board, and then wiping a board against anything is just ridiculous. We have 1 each of the 3 little guys. All of them are super mandatory. This is, funny enough, a 1-card combo because you search the Habetler and then Habetler's 1-card combo. And then the last monster that we're actually playing is the 1 copy of Snake Eye Birch. This card was cracked all day. This is your search target off of something like the Infernal Flame Banshee, and the purpose of that is to then special it because Flame Banshee is a fire, and then you can go link the Banshee into Gravity Controller and full Yummy combo, which is just ridiculous. Then we have quite a bit of hand traps. We are on 3 copies of Ash Blossom, just the most generic hand trap in the game. We are on 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, very good into the format, pretty much almost every deck. And then 2 copies of Bell. Bell is an insane card and put in so much work today. At one point it even negated my opponent's Call by the Grave, and that won me a match. We are on 3 copies of Fuelos, and that does it for the hand traps. Moving on to the spells, we have our 2 copies of Yummy Surprise and the 1 copy of Mignon. We are not playing any additional field spells and just playing the 1 of this. The Surprise is incredible, and you want to make sure that you're maxing out on it, or not maxing out, but making sure that you're playing more than 1 of it, just because it comes up very frequently where you have to use it for your turn 1. You can always reset it off of something like the Uka, but then you want to be able to search another for the follow-up. And then the Mignon is recurable. There's really nothing that they can do to get rid of it, because even if they try to SP it, you can use the effect of Yummy Surprise to bounce back the hand and then play it again. On to the Mitsurugi cards. We are on only 2 copies of Prayers. We are not playing 3 because it is not a starter. You need this middle of your combo to be able to continue playing. This actually does not start your combos, so there's no reason to max out on it. And that's why I think this deck is fine if the hit to the deck is Prayers, because at the end of the day, you'll still be able to do your combo. We have the 1 copy of the Ritual because that's all that we need. And then moving on to some supplementary engines / starters. We have our 3 copies of Engage. Engage is, of course, here to search your copy of Hornet Drones, which is a 1-card full combo. And then the final starter that we have is the 1 copy of 1-for-1. You usually side this out just because you don't want to discard, but having it game 1 is very, very crucial. We are on 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, and this is very, very important because a lot of the decks right now are playing on your turn 0. So you want to make sure that you have something that you can do to negate their effects when they're playing on your turn 1. Turn 0 of the duel, and something like Infinite Impermanence can't do that because you'll already have a board, so you need something that can actually just go and be able to stop them when they do that. Now, it's also really important because I wanted to prep for Mitsurugi Ryzeal, because, again, we lose to our board being wiped. So Mitsurugi Ryzeal is able to put out the Murakumo to wipe our board, and then you want to make sure that you have the way that you can negate it without them responding with the detonator, because if you do something like Forbidden Chalice, they can chain the detonator to pop the Murakumo, dodging the Chalice. This makes it so they can't respond and get you exactly where you need to be. And then the 42nd card in the deck, yes, we are on 42, is the 1 copy of Purification. You side that when you know you're going second, but having an additional Omni Negate is super important because you're actually linking away your Herald in the combo. So you want to make sure that you get here just so that you have an Omni Negate. Even though you're going to be making Herald on their turn again, it's really good to be able to stop and respond to certain things. The most clutch thing that it did for me all day was being able to negate my opponent's Dark Ruler no more. So that's going to be the main deck. Let's go to the extra. On to the extra, we have 1 of each of the of the Yummy Synchros. Really self-explanatory, they recycle themselves, nothing else you really need to do. Then we have the 1 Marcher. Marcher is so that you can go into both of your Heralds very easily. And now we have the really cool combo pieces. Of course, we have the Infernal Flame Banshee, and we also have the Gravity Controller. The combo is that 2 of your Mitsurugi level 4s go into the Flame Banshee, and then the Flame Banshee will search the Birch. You special the Birch while you control a fire. You link this off into the Gravity Controller, and then Gravity Controller plus Birch can go into Cupsy, and Cupsy is going to full combo for you. We are only on 2 copies of Yummy Snatchy. You do not need more than this for this deck. It does make your plays a little bit strange not having the 3rd, but the extra deck is so tight that you just really can't play a 3rd of this card because we have to play the Link Spider. Link Spider is of course a very good card into something like Nibiru, but you also want to be able to use it to turn something like your Hornet Drones token into an effect or into a Link 1 so that you can continue to special summon Yummies from your hand in the event that your opponent stops you from continuing play. We are on our 1 copy of Almirage and our 1 copy of Kagari, pretty self-explanatory. And finally we have the Link 2s in SP and Uka. That's going to be the extra. Let's show you guys the side. Now, onto the side deck, we decided to not respect Malice. That is mostly a meta call that I made just because I kind of know this shop. I've been here a couple of times, and I didn't expect anybody to be on Malice, which they weren't. So we were not playing Lancia. Instead, we were playing 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. And the reason for this is because there are people at this locals that play Mitsurugi Rise Heal, and I wanted to make sure I had an option for it. We are on our 3 copies of Perulia as well, just for when we are going second to max out on our Charmies. And then we have 2 copies of Retaliating Sea and 2 copies of Contact Sea. These are really good into Yummy. You can Retaliating Sea them when they minion, and when they out it, you get to search your Contact Sea. But the Retaliating Seas are also really good against something like Draco Tail, and the Contact Seas are okay against Vanquish Soul K9. Not the best, but definitely something that is worth putting in my opinion. We then also had a little bit of a metagame call, and that was 2 copies of Lightning Storm. I know that there are Crystron players at this locals, and I didn't want to get blown out by the Clockwork Knight if they were able to search it. That is just a floodgate that I would not have been able to handle otherwise. And you can also use this to bait out something like the Infinity. Just by activating it, they have to negate it or they lose their field. So really good. And then finally, we have the 3 copies of the Solemn Judgment. That's just for when you're going first and you want to side out your Fuelos. That's going to be the side deck. Overall thoughts are this deck is incredibly strong. I would absolutely play it again, but unfortunately we don't know whether or not we are getting a ban list at the time of recording this video. If the ban list allows it, this is absolutely the deck that I am playing for the format. I have never felt like a deck has been better, honestly. At least not a deck that I have played. This is the deck that has felt the most natural to me, the most conclusive to me. All of my games were very good games for the most part, but they were almost all very decisive. It was either I won immediately or I lost immediately. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know the deal. If you did, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share with your friends. As always, don't forget to check out the channel sponsors, both Dueling Guard and Imperium Duelist. Using the links in the description down below, you can get a discount for your purchase, as well as help to support the channel. I want to give a shout out to Ricky back in Vegas. He's been playtesting with me, and he helped me really build this deck to be the best that it could be. So yeah, there you guys have it. Hope you enjoy. Alright, and last minute shout out, because after finishing recording the profile, my top 8 opponent, his name is Wang, came over and gave me some of his winnings as a thank you for the game. He was also really excited to be on the channel. So yeah, shout out to you. I guess I walked away with a little bit more than I expected. So we'll see if we pull anything good.